Christmas time now I unwrap it and I gave it to him for a present. He unwrapped it and there's a pair of nice moccasins, beaded moccasins and a pair of nice beaded gloves. He said to me, "Who made them?" "Me," I said, I was proud of myself. I learned that the hard way. I learned everything. I helped my husband with putting up hay for the cattle, putting up hay for the horses. You know, when he goes cutting wood, I help him. Nothing was hard for me. It's all in your head. If you want to do something, if you try, you can do, you can succeed.
As you walk into the future, be kind to your relatives. It is not a good thing to attack others with words. Do not waste your time by saying things that no one will find useful. If you find yourself attacking people with mean words that puts them down, you will find yourself alone in your home. There will not be any footprints to your home. I have not said mean words to anyone. I have not stolen a match from anyone. And I did not beg for anything from anyone. I raised my children.
Today, many people have hard times. They go to the homes of their families to get help. My father told me not to be self-centered. He told me to think about my family who have children. My father told me that one day I would be without parents. I would not take food from my family, especially when they have to feed children. The children might go hungry. The stories that are being told by elders have the same truth. We can learn, we can do for ourselves, and be independent.
One is prayer and the other is words to live by. This Dene Gohndii, they call the words to live by. Maybe one young person would get the meaning of the stories and listen to those messages. And that is the reason for this work that is being done. If it helps that person make a change to better themselves, then I am thankful. As an elder, I am happy for a young person who wants to listen.
Elders, I listened to them as a child. I often thought about the stories that they told. I wondered about what they meant. I did that, and it was a good thing that I paid attention. My husband was a respected man who prayed, and when I came into his house as his partner, he told me many stories. Today I still keep them in my heart. Those people who get very angry and use animal names to call down their children, they don't realize that it is dangerous to be so mean, especially to their children. They will be afraid of their own words which they used on their children. These people will be afraid when dark clouds come into their homes. They will not be able to help their own children who act out and who will not listen. They will be afraid of their own children. The children will grow into animals and attack like animals. My husband told me many stories.
And then Johnny used to tell us the old-time stories, lots of stories. I was always with these old people, like Harry Dadone's mom, and Paul Matsunia. I always listened to them, all of them. And your grandpa there, Alexei.
My mother, she has to be respected. As a young child, she told me things, but I did not listen to her most of the time. But from the time I began to understand what my mother meant, I began to listen, and I knew that her words were important, and I understood then to follow her advice. It is important to listen to your mother.
I hope that young people will not keep negative things on their minds. These things that are not good for them, they could avoid doing as it will not help them. I keep praying they find a good way. They do not understand me, but I keep talking with them. It is sad that we cannot communicate, but we must keep talking. These people who speak English could talk with these young people who do not speak that language. There are those who do not understand what we say. It is hard to talk with young people today. I hope these children can develop coping skills like their parents. I tell them about my father's stories. Some ask me to speak in English, but I do not speak English now. How can I talk to them?
It was a hard life we had as children growing up in the old days. Today, young children have good homes and life is not so hard. We did not live in cabins like this. We lived inside teepees outside in the winter. It was very cold. The smoke froze in the air. All winter we lived inside those teepees. That is what I know about how we lived. Outside during the cold winter, the fires burned and women worked on their moose hides. They scraped and fleshed moose hides in the cold winter. These women would get warmed up by the fire because they worked in the cold. Some women made jackets out of fawn hides for their children. The sleeves were sewn on these jackets that were made for these children.